When he departed, by and by, I used the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice.
Hold it!
Yes, so that you could cheat the gas company, in fact, isn't that right? To cheat or to die? 'Tis life's only choice. Yes. Faith! To cheat be the wise choice, and mine occupation be not an ugly one. Prayeth thee, dost thou not see beauty in the simplicity of the ruse? No, I don't, and be very sure, sir, once this trial is over, Altamont Gas will take you to task over this legal task. I shall not run, I shall not hide. Sooth to say, I have nowhere to run nor to hide. But my lady, what wouldst thou with this pitiful player? Oh, I'll tell you what I'd like to do with you, starting with the shoddy shirt on your back. Ow. 'Tis time for a Shamspeare dance. Wow, what a harsh world we live in. The thieving of the gas was addressed in yesterday's proceedings. The prosecution calls on the defense not to muddy the waters with irrelevancy. Consider that a warning, counsel. Yes, my lord. Why am I the one in trouble here? Mr. Shamspeare, after the accused returned to his own lodgings, you used his tea to make your coins. Is that correct? To cheat or to die, I did make my choice many moons ago. No surprise the poison not be found in the tea. I did pour into the moulds of the soap. If having first made your special coins, it was after 2 in the morning when you collapsed, that would mean you can't have drunk any tea yourself until around that time. Once ensnared by literary debate, naught else be found in the furrows of the mind. The debate about Romeo and Juliet, you mean, and who was the stronger of the two? Rightly did I pay no heed to the tea as I wrestled with the abominable fellow. I don't remember debates like that when I was studying. Are you suggesting that neither of you actually drank the tea whilst it was hot that evening? My lord, wouldst thou be privy to some Shamspearean wisdom? Husband, wife, and tea, ought I tepid be? Ah yes, so very true. Everyone has different preferences when it comes to tea. I think you might have interpreted that wrongly. Been proven there was no poison in Soseki-san's tea. That should be hugely in our favour, but the atmosphere in the courtroom today... It feels as though everyone's against us, Mr. Naruhodo. It must be the Reaper's poison. I'm afraid that if we don't find a significant flaw in this testimony somewhere, the jury will pronounce and find Mr. Natsume guilty. It really feels like we've jumped into a fire here. Alright, so the question is, which one do we object to? Either this one, where he says not a drop past his own lips, or the one where he says that tea remained in the cup that Natsume used, and he used it to make his coins of ice. Because what he's saying is, oh, I drank his tea, for sure, you know, but he didn't drink his, and that's the tea that I used to make the coins, so of course there'd be no poison in that. So we've got to disprove that using his cups. So the teacup used by Mr. Shamspeare and Mr. Natsume, and there's no tea ring on the inside of Mr. Natsume's cup. Now, if we watch the scene again to remind ourselves, this is the teacup which Mr. Natsume was drinking. Unlike the other one, the inside of the cup is completely clean. So the green one was Natsume's cup, because the purple one was in Shamspeare's hand. That's what he was holding. So we know that was the cup that he was drinking from. I suppose he must have drunk the contents before the tea had a chance to leave a mark. So if he left the tea, then, you know, it would have left a mark. I always gulp it down too. Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. If you just sip it little by little, it will go cold. Clearly, I shall have to instruct you on the proper way to drink tea. Yes. So Shamspear's tea ring is there. So he didn't drink his tea straight away either, but that's strange because even Natsume told us in the jail earlier that they both drank the tea while it was hot. So I think maybe the teapot, maybe it was even this one, had more than 1 cup's worth of tea in it. I think we could probably use this on either, if I'm honest. Because he's saying the drop didn't pass his own lips, and then when he departed, I think I'll use it on this one.
Objection!
Yeah, there we go. You claim that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question, and that you used the tea that was left in his cup to make your fake coins. But that's not possible. How, chop logic? What is this, ye darky-clad fellow? The 2 teacups from the scene, one used by the victim and the other by the defendant, have a clear difference between them. One that represents incontrovertible proof. Incontrovertible? What difference? Look at the inside of the cups. Just here, there's clearly a visible ring. Yes, a tea ring. Commonplace enough. Indeed, such stains occur all too readily when one leaves the tea in a cup for a while. And yet, Mr. Natsume's cup has no such ring. Good lord, you're right. It's completely clean. And prayeth thee, sir, what makest thou of it? Exactly what Mr. Natsume told the court yesterday, the Japanese saying he quoted. Drink tea while it's hot. That's right, yes. The jittery Mr. Natsume is true to his usual self that night and drank his tea in no time. If, as you claim in your testimony, he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed on the inside of his cup as well after several hours of the tea left standing. But, in short, Mr. Shamspear, you clearly lied to the court. Get thee to a nunnery!
Objection!
What now? As a rule, I fill my hallowed chalice up to 7 times during any one trial. That's if you don't smash it first, like he always does. You might want to keep that information to yourself, you alcoholic, you. Wow, it's all gone already. Fuck, you just inhaled it. Yet on occasion, tedium distracts me and I pour more times than I intended until the bottle is dry. Your drinking habits are fascinating but irrelevant. On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of human memory. To William Shamspear. Yes, my liege? Though you previously stated that you made the coins of ice from leftover tea in the accused cup, could it be that you were perhaps mistaken? Could it be that, yes, perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the scene? Oh, come on, that's called leading the witness. A fact that had vanished from your memory until now. This is leading the witness. This would totally get you told off by the judge. Faith, my liege, thou art a magician. Yeah, he's conjuring up bullshit. For verily, 'tis as though thou hast seen with thine own eyes that night. What? Forsooth, I was mistook. Ah, welcome back, Freya! How did the walk go? Did you go out and get something tasty to eat as well while you were out? I did plan to use the tea from the Japanese fellow's cup, but lo, when I looked, 'twas empty. And thus did I use the dregs that festered in the teapot, as my liege did suggest. Kinda helped, but the hub and I had an argument. Oh no. Can't win, eh? Oh well. And you've just suddenly remembered now that you made a mistake before? Feels like it, yeah. Are we supposed to believe that? People's memories are imperfect, my learned friend, which is why we rely on evidence instead. But in any case, it makes no difference. The victim's most recent testimony tells us two things of note. Firstly, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup only, and secondly, that the spoilt cup was not the source of the insipid ice coins that have bewitched this court. The prosecution makes a fine summary of the facts. Furthermore, the testimony remains valid and in full support of the established facts. In other words... Oh, the cloak's coming off. The inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist. No! What does this mean, then? I do declare, it means there's no issue with the gas thief's testimony. Apart from the bit about the thieving of gas, obviously. My lords, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear, after I did dine at Grubb's Grubbery Ale House that night, naught did pass my lips but the black tea given me by the Japanese, whose back be stooped and low as death. And on what did you dine, sir? Why, I did partake of my favourites. A broth, as what's be called soup, and a leaf, as what's be called salad. An insalubrious menu as an establishment where it was served. But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. Willingly would I suffer what punishment 'tis seem fit to serve a wicked thief of gas, but I pray ye wise and noble fellows ne'er forget a simple truth. That be one thing, and this be another. Jurors all, your humble servant Shamspeare doth entreat you punish the Japanese fellow for his sins. My lord! If I may speak, my lord. Yes, Mr. Foreman? I believe we may have been duped by that rotten defense lawyer. Oh God, me? I do declare you may be right. We all know the waif there was making coins of ice to keep himself warm. But this lawyer lad says he's stealing gas, he deserves a dose of poison, eh? He's been leading us up the garden path, that's what he's been doing. I really never said anything like that. But what we've just heard from the victim there has opened my eyes again. We've reached a decision this time, and we won't be swayed from it. Oh really, we'll see about that. The court acknowledges the position of the jury foreman, and will duly hear the jury's findings. What? No! You can't yet! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your decisions now.
Guilty.
Oh, here we go.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Time for a summation examination. The look-alike is in the jury. Oh yeah, Freya, we found out about that. You're talking about the guy who's in the picture in Olive Green's hospital ward, right? So we found a bunch of stuff out. So when we searched Shamspeare's apartment, the loose floorboard down here, what we found inside it, we found a newspaper clipping about a criminal called Selden, who lived in what was now Natsume's room. And he went to jail with a death penalty. But before he died, before the penalty could be served, he died of natural causes in Manchester jail 3 months ago. And about a year ago, after he was arrested, this guy, this was also in the floorboard, this guy was the tenant in Natsume's old room. So that's the guy from Olive Green's, what is it, picture that she had. So yeah, I've forgotten the guy's name now already. Have we got him in the lineup? Did he get added? Yes, here we are. Duncan Ross is the guy's name, we found out. So he was the previous tenant before Mr. Natsume. He died in Natsume's room a month ago from gas poisoning because the pilot light went out in the furnace and it suffocated him to death. So we now know all about him. And we also found out, we don't have it in evidence, but Mr. Garrideb, when we went and questioned him about this picture and he told us about this guy and who he was, we need to find out how the third juror is related to him, if it's a disguise. I think it's just the art style, just kind of looks like him. But Mr. Garrideb said, oh yeah, and in his room there was a letter that he was writing to a sweetheart, but there's no address on it, so I could never send it, and he gave it to us. But the name on the letter that it was that he'd written it to was to his Olive Green. So turns out they were engaged. And then when he died, Olive Green thought that, you know, the universe is punishing her. And then the reason why she was walking past the building that night, 3 nights ago, when she got stuck in the back with a knife, or 5 nights ago now, she got a letter from a person saying that they knew what really happened to Duncan Ross, and to meet them at a bar, like a restaurant up here, north of Briar Road, north of Natsume's lodgings, and that's where she was going when she got the knife in the back. So it was just rotten bad luck, really. But here's the thing. The letter she received, we saw it because we went to talk to her about this, to tell her, like, we know that person, Olive Green. So we went to talk to her. She was about to drink poison in the hospital room. She snuck into the medicine cabinet and got a vial of poison. And she was about to drink it. She was looking at the letter, and the envelope that it was in matched this torn off piece, but we couldn't put them together for some reason. But it matched the torn off piece that we found in Shamspear's room. It was on the floor over here somewhere, off camera. So somehow that letter ended up in Shamspear's room at one point. So I don't know what's going on with this, but something's happened. You know, there was also a box, which we don't have because there was nothing in it, but there was a tin box that was empty. So it's not in our evidence thing, but that's what we found out about this guy. How it all ties in, still we don't know, but 3 months ago Shamspear came to rent the middle room, the one that Natsume was in. Well, the one that Duncan Ross was in, I should say. And it's coming to me now. I think I know what's going on. He was in the room that Duncan Ross was in. So he wanted that room because he wants the room that the killer used to live in, because I think he's trying to find the killer's hoard, because apparently the guy's hoard of all the jewelry he stole was never found, and it's worth thousands. So he wanted that room and he couldn't have it. And then when Duncan Ross died, literally within a day, Natsume came to rent the room anyway. I think, now I'm thinking about it, I think Shamspear was poisoning the people above by messing with the gas to get it to turn off their pilot light in their stove and watch them die. And he's been doing the same thing to Natsume, trying to kill him, so the room would become available so that he could then probably ask Garrideb if he could move into that room instead of the one that he's currently in. Because I think he thinks the treasure's in there somewhere. I'm starting to think it through now. I'm beginning to see how it could be connected, how these people dying in that room and the pilot lights going out is connected, because Garrideb had to have the whole plumbing system changed. He had all new pipes put in after the death of Duncan Ross, and it cost him a fortune because the police told him he had to do it. So the pilot light shouldn't be going out still, but it is. So it's going out because somebody's fucking around with it. And since one person turning on all the gas, maybe that's why he's doing this ice coin thing. Maybe he's doing that because he knows when he turns everything on, it shortens the gas supply in the other rooms. So it snuffs out the pilot light. And it would kill whoever's in that room. Or force him to leave because he thinks it's dangerous. I think that's what's going on now. Ah. Interesting. Let's keep going. I hereby declare the jury to be in one accord. Oh, happy day. How is this happening? My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry out a summation examination. He's like, yes, very well. The court upholds the defense's right. Typical, my learned friend is unable to accept the obvious truth. This trial will therefore enter its second summation examination immediately. Jurors, the court calls upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime with which he's charged. I'm a man of logic, me, and having considered all the evidence, the defendant must logically be guilty. I do agree that gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying. The stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is. What has that got to do with anything? Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes. Truth be told, the tea my wife serves up for me is a little sketchy at times. What has this got to do with anything? I know nothing else passed the victim's lips that night. There's no other explanation, is there? I do feel that perhaps personal opinion about gas and its suppliers influenced the decision somewhat. But never mind. No, you really shouldn't mind at all. This is fine. This is what's called an impartial jury, obviously. The truth is, our counter-argument wasn't as unassailable as we'd hoped. And Mr. Shamspeare was poisoned, there can be no doubt about that. Then how are we supposed to turn this around? I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Shamspeare was actually poisoned. Well, yes! It's the only way to demonstrate the court incontrovertibly. But that's surely almost impossible at this stage. If we don't manage it, though, Mr. Natsume will be found guilty, yes. No delays, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. A man of logic.
Hold it!
All the evidence, you say? That's right, and there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing to the Japanese man with the big moustache, says the Englishman with the bigger moustache. Which means we need to show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind. If only we had that kind of evidence. Don't worry, this summation examination has barely started, really. Perhaps there'll be a shift in the situation that shows an existing piece of evidence in a new light. Let's hope so. To start with, though, I need to find some way out of this deadlock. Gas is too expensive.
Hold it!
This isn't the time or place to be discussing the price of gas, madam. But really, think of the injustice. Air is a gas, and air is free. Why shouldn't ultimate gas cost money? It makes my blood boil. I can feel myself becoming more ruthless than ever. This isn't the time or place to be ruthless either. If I might interject here. Ah, yes, madam. It seems my fellow juror takes issue with the price our gas company charges for a gas. But it's precisely because of thieves like this man that the gas cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man. That unkempt moustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea, stealing gas, it's utterly unforgivable. No. Mr. Natsume isn't the one who's been stealing the gas. I'll thank you not to go adding on more crimes. Mr. Natsume hasn't been poisoning tea either. Well, anyway, I've quite made up my mind. This is made up as the price of gas. Ooh. Shots fired. It explodes and it can poison you, it's lethal. Could we please talk about the poison rather than the gas, do you think, sir? Well, if you like, I mean, to be honest, I'd take poison over gas every time. You'd take poison? What I mean is, poison can only poison you. It doesn't explode, does it? Goodness me, what are you talking about? Set him straight, please, lawyer man. Well, it's certainly true that poison isn't prone to exploding. but I think you'll find poison also can't light or heat up a room. Ah! You're right. I hadn't considered that at all. Young lawyer man. Yes? You have a good head on your shoulders. We could use someone like you at our company's legal representative. I wasn't expecting to pick up more business in the middle of a trial, that's for sure. Anyway, the point is, I haven't had the best experience with gas companies in the past. And this matters how?
Hold it!
Costs a fortune, right. Can we please refrain from all the talking of gas? There's an all-out attack underway here in case you haven't noticed. Again, my company's gas. And I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I? I don't think so. He's really buzzing now. All I've heard about our wonderful fuel is explosions and poisonings. What about electricity, What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here and there is nothing in comparison. An explosion? Any explosion could hardly be described as nothing, madam. Nevertheless, the theft of your gas is deplorable. My point exactly. But the gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. We have far more devious reprobates to contend with on our daily basis, you know. More devious? Who, madam? Other gas companies, of course. Other gas companies? Not quite what I was expecting. We generate gas and deliver it to our customers fair and square. Indeed, nobody is questioning that, madam. Altamont is an exemplary gas company. But there are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all. What? But if they don't have any gas, how do they go about selling it to people? You wouldn't think it possible, would you? But they steal our gas, you see, and sell that. They steal your gas? How on earth is such a thing possible? Gas companies like ours deliver gas to people's homes via a network of pipes. These devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own rotten pipes. Then they make a contract with the household supplied by those pipes, and take money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours without us even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own pipes illegally? What a brazen form of theft. When we visit a customer's house to collect the money from their meters, we always have to check whether or not one of these devious companies has been up to its tricks. Oh, hello. What have you got to say, Juror number 3? We'll come back to him in a moment. I had no idea. It's almost unbelievable. It might seem unbelievable to you, but it's happening all the time, right here in the capital. It's very difficult selling something you can't see. No, it's very difficult indeed. Thank you, that will do. Right, so we'll go back through that and see what he has to say. Clearly it's a very involved subject, but I feel we've digressed rather too much already. I concur, though if my learned friend wishes to become an expert in gas, I believe the subject will suit him well. To your new career in nothingness. Thank you so much. You will turn your attention to the next juror's assertions, please, counsel. No, I want to go back to this guy again and see what juror number 3 was talking about. Let's just skip through until we get to him freaking out. So I wonder if that's what's been happening and why Natsume's gas keeps on cutting off. Is because the gas has been siphoned away by someone else, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Right, you. I'm going to pursue that.
Excuse me.
He's all like, what? No, that doesn't happen. Do you have something to say about that juror number 3? Oh, golly, you mean me? I'm terribly sorry. I was just thinking to myself. Yeah, I bet he's buying gas from other companies. I really did catch him off guard there. Good. Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct? Well, yes. I just got a little riled about it recently, you see. Go on. An Altamont gas worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipe work. We need to ask for your cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said. So I let him in. And do you know what he did? I'm afraid I have no idea. Please tell us. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall. Then he grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it. What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets there. Oh, please, everybody knows. But it was very nearly the death of me, I can tell you. What do you mean? I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to our pipe network. Yes, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it? Obviously, there's gas in the pipes, and it's a fairly low pressure. By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. If you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment. Ah, I see. In other words, if upon blowing into the pipe of the lights of an adjacent property that has no contract with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with the pipes. Exactly, my lord. That's it in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate light flickering. The trouble is, the particular worker who came to my house didn't know the strength of his own breath. He blew down the pipe with all his might, and you can guess what happened, can't you? Well, if he blew hard, then... Wait, you mean... That's right. The lights didn't just flicker, they all went out, along with the stove. Gas started pouring into the house. What a disaster. The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard, so the flames went out. Can we all see where this is going, guys? I'm afraid I yelled at the fellow. Are you trying to kill us all, I said. So by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. When the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room. Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps... Yes, this is almost certainly the clue we've been hoping for. Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information. Oh, well, if you like. I don't mind. He's so amenable. Well, do it. That's our company's secret method of identifying him. Like I said, madam, it's widely known already. Very well, juror number 3, you will amend your statement accordingly. Yes, my lord, although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is. Oh, it will become clear. Blow too hard into a pipe and you extinguish everything in the house and you're in real trouble. When you say extinguish everything in the house, do you mean even on different floors? Oh yes, all the floors are connected to the same pipes after all. That's true of every building. Because gas supply contracts are issued for whole properties. Well, I had no idea that was possible to extinguish gas appliances simply by blowing down the pipe. It's not something we like to publicize, to be honest. But we have to carry out these investigations, as I'm sure you can appreciate. Indeed, it has been mentioned on more than one occasion in the papers even. Is that so? It's been mentioned to me too, very recently. An incident involving the gas stove going out inexplicably, almost leading to someone's death? Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps, yes, it's finally starting to fall into place, the secret link that joins all these strange occurrences. Well, I did say I thought the guy might have been tampering with the pipes, and that was blowing out Natsume's stove, and had done it as well to Duncan Ross. So... the handprints on the wall, that's where he's steadying himself when he removes the lamp fixture and he blows into the pipe. That's what he was doing. He was doing that to snuff out the stoves in the evening. Gross, I know, right? Ugh. And then Natsume would potentially suffocate to death, freeing up the room so that he could move into it. Because he's looking for the leftover treasure from the criminal from Selden. So all his loot remained undiscovered, and he used to rent the room that Natsume lives in. So that's what he's been doing. We've figured it out. Let's see what these guys have to say first, and then we'll come back to that guy and we'll press that information on him. Right, so T-Wife serves up is a little sketchy at times. Hey, Mr. Sholmes can help you with that. You mean it's poisoned? That's right. It happened a tidy few times now. This is most troubling indeed. It's always days like this when, one, I don't get any wages, and I get it in the tea times C. And I see her doing it, my wife. She gets that devilish look on her face and slips some white powder into my cup. Just putting sugar in it, dude. And you drink it anyway? I was brought up proper, I was. If someone gives you a cuppa, you drink it. What happened to you? What did it taste like? It was god-awful, believe you me. Salty as hell. It's putting salt in your tea. We can't afford sugar now because you haven't brought in the money, so I'm putting salt in your tea. Then I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt. But no! So, she doesn't even care enough to poison me properly, eh? Unbelievable. Let's move on, please. Yes, please, let's. There's nothing else past his lips. There can't be any other explanation. Does that mean that if the victim could be shown to have ingested something else, you'd change your leaning? Like, he maybe inhaled gas? Sorry, what's that now? Oh, I was just saying if the victim did actually eat or drink something else on that night. What's the matter with you? Sorry. I said if nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? Haven't you been listening to me at all? I feel there's an English expression about a pot and a kettle that's appropriate here. Compared to the other jurors, who didn't even appear to have anything to say about the case at all, it would seem that this elderly gentleman has been listening to the proceedings far more intently. I suppose the trouble is, he has a selective hearing? Exactly, but still, this juror may be the key to the breakthrough that we so desperately need. This is hopeless. There's no way for me to appeal to these people. I do think the only way we shall overcome this difficult situation is by exposing the way in which Mr. Shamspeare was really poisoned. We have to prove that it happened in some other way and not via Mr. Natsume's tea. Yes, I know. The trouble is, I have absolutely no idea how did it happen. Mr. Naruhodo, I wonder if perhaps there's something you might have forgotten? Oh, like what? It's important to watch everyone involved and pursue people who react to something someone else says. If you'd like me to remind you exactly what I mean, I'd be more than happy to, of course. Once again, Soseki-san's fate is entirely in my hands here. I probably owe it to my client to hear any advice my assistant may be able to offer. Perhaps I ought to let Susato remind me then again. No, I already did this, so... I don't think there's any need. It's vital we start trying to catch these jurors' minds as soon as possible. Of course, I'm sure you're right. But if you decide you would like your memory refreshed, you only need to ask Mr. Naruhodo. Alright, so what we need to do now is take this guy, blow too hard into a pipe and extinguish everything in a house, and then you're in real trouble. So... can I actually... no, I can't present it. So I can only pit them. Gas is expensive. So who could we pit him against? It doesn't come for free, it costs a fortune to deliver. Truth be told, the tea serves as sketchy. I think we have to pit him against juror number 6. Go back. So he's saying if nothing else passed his lips, there's no other explanation. So if we do this, we can say to them, look, he blew into the pipe to snuff out Mr. Natsume's stove.
Objection.
And then we'll get to show the evidence to support it, which is the picture that Sholmes created. These two statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious. To whose statements do you refer, counsel? Juror number 6, did you hear what juror number 3 just said? Eh? What? Yes, of course. I heard him mumbling about something or other. There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Natsume's tea did, in a manner of speaking, pass the victim's lips on the night in question. What? An explanation? I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding into the wall at the scene to see if there were any traces of poison there? I was curious to see what your floundering would result in this time, but the mouth of the gas pipe? Scotland Yard have enough to do without exploring such irrelevance. What a piece of work is a man. What are you trying to say, Mr. Shamspeare? What speakest thou, prayeth, is it not strange and strange? That is what I say to thee, sir. I thought I'd been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The strychnine could have been on the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. And that is how the poison came to enter your body. Good lord, but why would it be there? Who would have bothered putting it in there? Are they tasty then, gas pipes? Is that what he's saying? Or is the gentleman suggesting the poor man was so desperately hungry he tried to fill his belly with gas? Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss scene with him, Wow. For shame, madam, speaking thy fancy. I assure you, I'm not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes. 2 glasses gone. This is no summation examination. This is a farce. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my learned Nipponese friend's conjecture. Damn. Out comes the 3rd glass. To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips on the pipe that feeds it, he would have to be a contortionist, or standing on a box. Jesus, there goes the 3rd glass already. These are empty assertions. There is no possible proof that the man did as you say. It is true I have no proof Mr. Shamspeare put his lips to the pipe. However, I can say with some certainty that on multiple occasions, Mr. Shamspeare has been doing something in front of the lamp on his wall. And I have evidence to prove it. Alright, you've got our attention, lad. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself. So would I. Let's see the evidence then. Now I've got the jury's ear. I need to make this opportunity count. This is the proof that time and time again Mr. Shamspeare stood in front of this gas lamp.
Take that!
What the? These are... wait, what are they called? Ah, yes, skin prints that were found at the scene. Skin prints, counsel? I've never heard of such a thing. The Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not to permit fingerprints as evidence in courts, however. My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It reveals all of the places Mr. Shamspeare touched in his room. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, that's black magic, isn't it? Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's that great Sholmes fellow, that's for sure. I agree. This month's edition of the Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating. We found skin prints in many places that you would expect, on the tables, the costumes. However, Mr. Shamspeare also appears to have been touching some very unexpected places in his room. For example, here, around the hanging picture there. Indeed, multiple handprints appear to be visible. Well, I wonder, Could he have been appreciating the artwork, perhaps? At first, my colleagues and I thought the same thing. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are, and you would find yourself directly in front of... Ah! I don't believe it. The gas lamp. Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious, it's clear that Mr. Shamspeare has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp. Right, what have you been up to, you nut? I'd ask the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statements. Me? What did I say? You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. Now, if you'll recall juror number 3's statement... What, me now? When the gas worker who visited your home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all of the lights on the gas stove to go out, and gas started leaking into the room. Obviously, that incident was an accident. However, the simple fact is... If Mr. Shamspeare were to have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light in the house and gas stove in the building at will. Crikey! Ah, are you suggesting the man purposely caused the gas to... Glass number 4, about to die. Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination, I must toast my learned friend's utter disregard for the letter of the law. What is the meaning of this, Lord Van Zykes? This curious photograph, or whatever it is, presented by the defense, the so-called skin prints, clearly that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case. But it's an exciting new forensic technique developed by a great detective. It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands. Ugh. Certainly, even research of this nature by the esteemed Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence. But... Please, my lord, if I may, Miss Susato. It was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wish to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene as a tool by which to explain the possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the court. Ah, take that, Van Zykes! And if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. And I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree. You're right. Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not is down to us to decide. Juror number 3. Oh yes, I do declare, the great detective's investigation results sounds absolutely fascinating. I want to hear what that shady actor fellow has to say about these shady handprints. That's 2. We need 2 more. What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy. Well, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break a promise. No, wait! You heard his lordship. It's not... nope, too late. Boom. There's 3. Gas lady, are you with us too? Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Just one more juror changes his or her mind. Mr. Natsume, Will's trial will have to continue. Thank you, Miss Susato, but I couldn't have done it without you. Oh no, it was you who identified the clue after all. This is very much your success. Look at him now, he's like, oh god, no. Why, Mr. Shamspeare, you seem to be losing your composure. Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it. Very well, continue, counsel. A man of logic. Okay. Very interested in the results. We're ones who decide if evidence is worthy of consideration. Gas doesn't come for free. Man, what am I supposed to do with this? He's going to be totally useless to us. Well, see, juror number 6 says that there's so much up in the air Oops. And this guy says he's considered all the evidence and the defendant must be logically guilty, but if there's a lot up in the air, you can't have considered everything yet, right? Maybe that's where we go. Let me just... We haven't saved it in a while. The game could crash and we could lose all this progress. You never know. I'm going to pit him against Jura... Oh, I can't pit him against Jura 6? Ah! Okay, this is unusual. I don't see any contradicting statements here. A man of logic considered all the evidence. The defendant must logically be guilty. So all the ones who've changed their leaning are now unusable. Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes. And the tea his wife serves up is a little sketchy at times. We put these two together. Because clearly this guy has already, you know, talked about how he thinks he's being poisoned and he can't tell the difference. It's like, no, that was just salt in your tea, dude. What the hell? So if that's the case, then how can juror number 1 be so you know, confident that Shamspeare believes he was poisoned by tea, if this guy can't tell? It's flimsy. I don't like it.
Objection!
No, they're not. Yeah, that's... That caused the game to crash. Damn.
Hold it!
Maybe we have to press them all again. All the evidence, you say? That's right, there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing to the Japanese man with the big moustache. Says the English man with the bigger moustache. It just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events in the night in question. What do you make of that? Your so-called skin prints? Okay, so there is new stuff. It's an exciting new forensic investigation technique developed by the great detective himself. The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. If Mr. Shamspeare had indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe on the night in question, it can't be denied there's a possibility that's where the poison was. Well, yes, I won't deny that's what's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution rightly says, we should pay no heed to unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides, yes, even if the fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipes dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up to do the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it? If you can't make your case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stance. You make a very valid point, sir. No, you just changed your... Oh my god. What? That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty. No! Fucking no, wait! Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts can, that is. Leave our nationality out of this, please. Mr. Naruhodo, if we can't substantiate our position, I'm afraid the jurors that changed their minds before may very well change them back. What can I do? Is there more proof I can give here? Can we prove that he did it that night? I still have no idea what that is. Look at that. There's something on the back of his head there. What is that? That is so weird. Is there a way to prove that he did it that night? That's the question. You've had a thought. Do share with the class. I'm wondering if we need to start pointing out about this whole capital offender thing and the hidden photograph that was under his thing, and to prove that he has a reason to be doing it, therefore he would be doing it as often as fucking possible. He would be doing it very regularly. Maybe that's the way we're supposed to go with this. Instead of proving that he did it that night, we should prove that he would do it every night, as often as he can. I reckon Shamspeare poisoned himself knowing he would wake up later, and then he could get the blame on Natsume and then get to the room. Thinking of Romeo and Juliet, Juliet took the drug to appear dead. Yes, that's true. The thing is, though, there would have been a container for the poison, and it wasn't in the room. But we know he could have removed the bricks from the wall and thrown the poison vial out afterwards as well. So I don't know. Is there proof I can give here? Can I show Mr. Shamspeare really did blow down the pipe on the night in question? I mean, we do have supporting testimony that the pilot light keeps snuffing out, and Natsume did say it went out that night. So maybe we do supporting testimony and get Natsume on the stand. Now, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory, however, there is witness testimony that substantiates it. What's that? Testimony? This is incredible. Whose testimony? Yes, it's all connected. Everything is linked, like gas pipes in a house. A person whose testimony reveals details about the gas in the Garideb residence that night. Namely, would it be John Garideb? Because he watches the flickering of gas lights meticulously. Would it be him, I wonder? Do we have to get him on the stand? And then he can tell us whether or not any of the gas lights went on or off at that time of night. Because getting Natsume to testify to it... I mean, it was, strictly speaking, it was his stove that snuffed out. Garideb would only be able to say, oh, the lights flickered, but then they flicker every time anybody adjusts a lamp, so... or turns one on or off. So it would have to be Natsume.
Take that!
Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant. Mr. Soseki Natsume himself. The defendant? At the very beginning of the proceedings here in the court yesterday, Mr. Natsume... Oh, we already said that. Yes, we've already had him testify about the events of that night before. Mr. Natsume said the following. My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings! Even on that fateful night it happened, when I returned from Mr. Shamspeare's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me! On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out, so I asked the court, was that mere coincidence or not? Good golly, Miss Molly. So that Shamspeare fellow blew into the gas pipes to make the man's stove go out on purpose? Now hold your horses. What would he do that for? He's like, yeah, God. Mr. Foreman? What is it, man? We cannot allow judgment to be passed whilst this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have conclusive evidence yet. However, you must surely agree there is more to the case than meets the eye. Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic, first and foremost. Yo! We got it. I'm surprised the gas lady didn't change her leanings with us, though, since she was part of the whole other two getting changed over first. That's 4 jurors leaning towards not guilty, my lord. We've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue. As the defense has rightfully indicated, the summation examination has concluded with a majority of jurors altering their decision. 2 jury members now call guilty, 4 call not guilty. Therefore, the jury's opinion is conflicted, and in accordance with the laws of this land, I hereby order the continuation of this trial. Mr. William Shamspeare. You sketchy bastard, you. My lord, how can thy humble Shamspeare serve thee? What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation examination? So God mend me, I do solemnly swear, I recall aught of neither, of either the lamp or the pipe. But your handprints have made a tidy mess all over the wall there. How do you explain that? Bring me another bottle. I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already, juror number 5. Oh, me? As I went to some pains to point out already, a print from a self-professed detective's toy has no place in a British court of law. As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall remains at this time unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that.
Objection.
Hope he pays for damages to the wall. He's got a big cleaning bill. But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the lamp in Mr. Shamspeare's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there... What appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You'll recall that in order to check for the presence of poison in the tea, some remnants of the tea were required. Yes. Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if the poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have completely evaporated by now, making any analysis impossible. I didn't think of that. In any case, counsel, I fail to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you describe. Why on earth would this fellow have wanted to blow the air into the gas pipes where he lived? There's only one possibility I can think of, and that is to use the leaking gas to commit a murder. Order! Order! Counsel! Precisely whose life do you propose this man was plotting to end? The answer couldn't be simpler. Now we've unraveled the mystery this far. Mr. Shamspeare wanted to end the life of Mr. Natsume. If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing. I live round these parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lit is pretty much suicide. You freeze to death in no time. Mr. Garideb, the landlord, has a large fireplace in his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shamspeare was trying to end. Outrageous. I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He is the victim this man was trying to murder. Good gracious.
Objection!
The accused is actually the aggrieved? Interesting. However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged. Namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge your fancy for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison on the mouth of the gas pipe. The question then arises, who put it there? Yeah, who did put it there? The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and his intent to kill. That would indeed seem logical. If the assailant were unaware, how would he or she have known to lace the end of a pipe with poison? So now we must ask, how could anyone have known Mr. Shamspeare's murderous designs? You mean to suggest, naturally, the sole possible answer to that question couldn't be more obvious. Only the man whose life being threatened could possibly have known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison on the pipe in what was clearly a retaliatory attack can only have been the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Ah! Whatever Mr. William Shamspeare may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. The only person who could possibly have perpetrated the attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established, that suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend? Nah! I love how he keeps turning that shit around. It's like, wow. He's quick. Like, yeah, well, we think that, you know, he was trying to kill Natsume. It's like, oh, now you've given us motive. Fucking sweet. How did he manage to turn that around on me so rapidly? Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leaning against us again. This may be our last chance to gain the advantage. What advantage? Well, it would seem that somebody put poison on the gas pipe in Mr. Shamspeare's room, so we must name that person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt. You mean, name the true culprit? I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all. As it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison, it's all pointing to a particular person now. Is it? I don't know who. The prosecution calls for the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust you'll all make correct choices this time, Mr. Foreman. What? Oh, don't you worry. We know. There is one other person who I believe could have been involved in all of this. The true culprit of this crime. The true culprit? A term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate great detectives, my Nipponese friend. But why not? This farce has gone on for so long already, I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax. Thank you, I think. Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? Herlock Sholmes now. God, who could have done it? Could it have been the gas man? Oh. Maybe they just wanted to kill him. Or could it have been Quinby Altamont? Also, I'm just gonna say, that guy does not look 23 years old. He looks fucking 40. Come on. And she just regained consciousness. Let's just go through everybody. Obviously not. She's our legal assistant and not going to be the one doing this. Iris, no reason to. Herlock Sholmes, I wish so, but no reason to. Olive Green, she was unconscious. The thing is, part of her envelope was in Shamspeare's lodgings. Which is weird. I don't know how that connects in, but part of the envelope... We can't go to the evidence screen now, but the one that she was looking at, for the letter telling her to go to... Oh, unless... Was she meeting Shamspere? I don't know. The thing is, right, so we know that Duncan Ross, Miss Green's love of her life and fiancé, died as a result of gas poisoning a month ago. Shamspeare's been living below him for 3 months. In fact, when he came to rent the room here, he wanted the room that Ross was in because he believes that the master jewel thief, criminal and murderer had left his stash there somewhere in the room where it would never be found, so he probably wanted to get his hands on it. That's the reason why he came to Gary Deb's apartments to begin with. So, in order to free up that room, he was blowing the gas out because Duncan Ross died from gas poisoning after his stove went out in the middle of the night and he suffocated in his sleep. So, pretty much within the day, Natsume showed up to rent the room again. That was something Gary Deb just told us earlier. He said that, you know, within a day, Natsume was looking for a room because the, you know, like a real estate agent had referred him on to fill the room as quick as possible. And they signed him in that day. So Shamspere couldn't get the room quick enough. So now he's been trying to kill Natsume the same way, hoping that then people will start staying away from the room and he could move into it and then start looking for this treasure. Olive Green, a few days ago, on the day when she was stuck in the back with a knife that fell from Gary Deb's window, she was given a letter by somebody claiming to know the circumstances of Duncan Ross's death. Shamspere wouldn't have sent such a letter, because that would be him admitting to murder. So somebody knew, but somehow part of the envelope that contained that letter ended up in Shamspere's apartment on the night that he died. I think what happened is, when Olive Green was stabbed outside, she may have dropped the letter, and he may have picked it up. And maybe then he read it, saw what this was all about. I don't know what he would have done afterwards though, because Olive Green now has the letter again. But he left the envelope, like the bit he ripped off of the envelope, in his room. So, yeah. We also know that he was then in the hospital with Olive Green looking at a painting that she'd done. But she never made the meeting, so she still doesn't know anything about how Duncan Ross died. Therefore, she couldn't have a motive for killing William Shamspeare. We can't say it's Natsumi, we're trying to get him off the murder charge. Gregson's a cop, so it's not going to be him, and we know this is a flashback case, so, you know. Garadeb? Would he want to kill one of his tenants? I doubt it. So the only other people that would have a problem with Shamspeare and want to kill him is the gas company because of the nuisance of him stealing gas, and they couldn't figure it out. So if they can't figure it out, the next best step is kill the guy, right? And then problem solved, it goes away. So would it be Meterman? Or would it be Quimby Ultimate? Did Meterman get on to what he was doing, blowing out the stoves? He's been watching the guy. Think about it. He's been watching the guy like a hawk to see how he's able to do this. How he was able to steal the gas. How he's able to pay for it, but there be no money in it. I wonder if he was, because he's peering through the crack in the brickwork. That's all he could see. What if he saw Shamspeare blowing into the gas tube? And the next time he came to check the meter, he laced that with poison. It is a possibility. What if he reported it back to Quimby Ultimate? And she told him to. I don't think she would have done it herself, but this guy went into that property regularly. He had access to be able to empty out the meter. So he has opportunity.
Take that!
But it's not him. Shit. You claim this person is the true culprit. Highly suspicious, I would say. Yeah, he's got a scar on his chin and everything. Perhaps, my learned Nipponese friend, you should turn those wide eyes of suspicion on yourself. What? For it seems to me that your reckless reasoning makes you far more than anyone else could name. A very dangerous man indeed. Whoops. Mr. Naruhodo, please, you must concentrate. I was trying to. Then you must concentrate harder. Ugh, harsh. The so-called true culprit of the crime. Okay, well, I took that one on the chin. Because I was very, very sure of myself. Now I'm guessing I'm going to save Scum. Olive Green has a motive, but she wouldn't have had opportunity. How the hell would she have even got in there to lace the thing with poison? Garadeb would have no reason for any of his lodgers to die. He's losing money.
Take that!
Let's try her. That's a no. Alright. Okay, well, I suppose we are supposed to accuse her, but she was literally unconscious until the very morning that the guy was found poisoned and dead. Supposedly dead. The name of the person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspeare is, I believe, Miss Olive Green. Miss Olive Green? Miss Olive Green. I feel as though I've heard that name in recent past council, but I don't recall where. Miss Olive Green. The woman from 6 days ago. The victim in the recent stabbing on Briar Road. An incident from which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add. Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green. She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe. Oh, 3 days. Okay, so she was up the day of the death. But I hear she regained consciousness 2 days ago. And I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Shamspeare's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Oh, so no, okay. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi. True, on the night of the incident occurred, Miss Green was in hospital unconscious, so on the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible, but still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in hospital yesterday. We found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison. Good gracious, she had poison? There is another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court. I don't know how your frames are, Matt, but the stream is skipping a lot for me. Frame loss is 0, so my FPS is steady. It might be on your end, or Twitch might be twitching, as it is wont to do. We are about to end as soon as we get to a good save point, so I don't want to stop in the middle of an explanation, so probably no point skipping now. But yeah, nothing on my end. It must be on your end. Just probably Twitch, yeah. Tell me, Mr. Shamspeare. My lord, pray, what be thy bidding? Are you acquainted with Miss Green? No, never heard of her. Judging by the look on Mr. Shamspeare's face, I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her, at least not by name, yeah. As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see what my learned Nipponese friends farce through to its conclusion. I appreciate that. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here. Yes, Miss Olive Green. Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient. Very well, I grant the request. Excellent, I hope. The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say, but at the present time I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We reconvene in 1 hour, court is adjourned. So I wonder where it's going with this, because there's no way in hell that she could possibly have poisoned this guy, or known to. She never made the meeting where she went to go speak to someone. But what if that person sought her out in the hospital afterwards and told her the truth then? Still reckon it was him doing it to himself. Maybe? I don't know. I guess we'll see next time.